former Rwandan doctor Eugène Rwamucyo over his role in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. According to a judicial source, the Paris court confirmed the sentence late on Friday into Saturday. Rwamucyo, 67, was again found guilty of complicity in genocide, complicity in crimes against humanity, and joining a criminal conspiracy to prepare those crimes. And he was, however, cleared of genocide and crimes against humanity charges. And for more on this, we are joined on the line by Sylivanus Karemera, Channel Africa's correspondent in Kigali. Sylivanus, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you too.
Now, Sylivanus, what role did Rwamucyo play in the genocide?
Yeah, thank you. Part of the roles that he played is what you've just actually said, but he found guilt of three crimes. One was complicity in a genocide against the Tutsi in 1994, and then it was the second one was complicity in crimes against humanity and the participation in what they called criminal conspiracy to prepare genocide against and crimes against humanity. With groups of Interahamwe militia who took a huge part in extermination of Tutsi back in time, of course with government soldiers in place. So Rwamucyo was found guilty of these crimes, and he was sentenced to 27 prison jail, so to say. And only that this particular appeal, that because he had been convicted back in time, especially in 2024, and then he appealed, of course, and then now this appeal has lost. He has lost this appeal. Now the court has maintained this 27 prison jail.
Just take us through the reaction of, the citizens of Rwanda in terms of this particular the upholding of the sentence, the 27-year prison sentence, and this is after a number of appeals, as you've already touched on. What is everyone's reaction, and his family as well?
Well, his family, I can't confirm his family because he's been living in France, and I don't have enough data about it. But I think what I can describe is what is happening here, because you remember this gentleman was first arrested in 2010 in Paris, in France, when he was attending the funeral of one of the genocide perpetrators, one Jean Bosco Barayagwiza, who had convicted for genocide crimes. And back in time, he was arrested in France, and shortly in 2010, the year that he was arrested, he was released. Of course, he kind of taken to court, but then some of his charges were dropped, and the investigation in France said that they were not ready to extradite him back to Rwanda, but they said they are going to conduct their own investigations. So he continued to live in France, actually freely and working from there, and then until recently, and in this case in 2024, when he was now arrested and put into jail, and of course his case proceeded to now getting this, a prison sentence. Now, during this process, there have been some multiple, cries, especially from the genocide survivors, because those who lived in Butare, where he worked, especially in the hospital, National Hospital in Butare, western part of Rwanda, said that he took part in these crimes. So by the time he was arrested, they kind of heard publicly crying that the justice was not served, in that sense. But now that this imprisonment has been confirmed. Most of people, there was a very huge influx of people, especially on the social media, saying that at least it has been long overdue. But even if it has taken so long for him to be taken to court and finally given sentence, at least now the justice has been served, especially for those survivors who survived the genocide back in time.
What is next for him? What is the process now after this final decision of him having to spend time in prison?
Well, I think he's going to continue, serving this 27-year sentence, unless he does another appeal. Of course, there's what we call a French Court of Cassation, in which he must be appealing. But then this particular court, I don't think it has got that jurisdiction, for example, to retry the facts in this particular court. This particular case. Only what they might be doing will be maybe to examine whether the law was applied correctly, or if no further, like in this case, if there's no further, appeal. So I think to me, he's likely to serve his sentence because this particular court I'm trying to mention is not likely to go now back to the substantial facts which might be, letting him free. So to me, I think is going to serve the sentence that is being given.
His lawyers say Rwamucyo denies any wrongdoing and argues the accusations are based on his opposition to the current Rwandan government. What is your take? And just in general, what are people saying about his denial of any wrongdoing?
My take is similar to what other people are actually saying, because from get-go, most of the genocide convicts or perpetrators or fugitives that are still at large across the world, most of time, and most of them, when they're arrested, they claim to kind of graduate from being genocide suspects to activists of human rights, be it in Rwanda or even across the world. So I think this is one of the reasons that have always been giving to kind of help them being set free. But I think, of course, remains purely court matters. And from this appeal in the French Court of Cassation, maybe we are just waiting to see if this particular court in France is going to consider his plea and his lawyers, take, so to say. But to me, this has been a kind of general statement from those who have been arrested, be it in France, Germany, US, the Netherlands, and other, areas of the world, including even South Africa, where you have been. Where you are. So this is a general term that has been said by these people. We are just waiting to see if it will be given a substantial or credibility during the appeal, if we actually does that.
Well, Sylivanus, we have run out of time and we are going to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you so much, too.
Sylivanus Karemera, our Rwandan correspondent in Kigali, joining us on the line. Our news headlines up next.